Folks, gather round because we've got another doozy from the fine folks at Wells Fargo. You remember them, right? The financial institution that's become synonymous with scandal like peanut butter is with jelly. Well, add another chapter to the saga because a Florida jury just hit them with an $832 million judgment for, and I can barely say this with a straight face, a trust fund. You know, those things that are supposed to be safe and secure for their beneficiaries? Yeah, not so much in Wells Fargo's hands. This isn't some chump change we're talking about. This is $832 million with an M. That's enough money to buy a small island, a fleet of solid gold yachts, or, actually help the people the trust fund was designed to benefit. But we'll get to that in a minute. For now, just let the staggering amount of money sink in for a moment. This is a financial institution that's supposed to be responsible for people's money, and they managed to lose, or rather mismanage enough of it, to make even the most hardened Wall Street tycoon blush. The details of this case, like most Wells Fargo scandals, are enough to make your head spin. It all centers around the Seminole Miners Per Capita Payment Trust, a fund set up to benefit approximately 2,000 children of the Seminole tribe of Florida. This trust, with assets nearing $3 billion, was supposed to be a nest egg for these kids, a way to ensure their financial well-being. Instead, it became the latest victim of Wells Fargo's seemingly endless capacity for corporate greed and incompetence. Now, you might be thinking, John, how badly can you mismanage a trust fund? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because Wells Fargo managed to turn financial mismanagement into an art form. We're talking unauthorized fees, questionable investment strategies, and a whole lot of finger-pointing. It's enough to make you want to stash your cash under your mattress and call it a day. This brings us to the Seminole Miners Per Capita Payment Trust, established by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. This trust, folks, wasn't some small-time operation. It was funded by revenue from the tribe's very successful gaming enterprises. You know, those casinos that seem to magically appear in states where gambling was once considered a sin? Yeah, those casinos. Point being, this trust was flush with cash, nearly $3 billion to be exact. This money was earmarked for the future of the Seminole tribe, specifically for around 2,000 children who were each designated as beneficiaries. The idea was simple. Provide these kids with a financial safety net, a little something to help them get a head start in life. But, and there's always a but with Wells Fargo, the bank seemed to have missed the memo about the whole beneficiary part of the trust fund equation. Instead of safeguarding the money and growing it responsibly, they treated it like their own personal piggy bank. Unauthorized fees? You betcha. Questionable investment strategies that yielded paltry returns? Oh, you better believe it. It's almost comical in a tragic kind of way. You have this incredibly well-funded trust, set up to benefit children, and Wells Fargo swoops in and mucks it all up. It's like watching a raccoon break into a bakery and somehow manage to set fire to the frosting. You can't help but wonder, how did it even get to this point? Now, we can't talk about this Wells Fargo fiasco without shining a light on one individual in particular, Kim Scott, the bank's relationship manager assigned to the Seminole Miners Trust. You see, every good scandal needs a fall guy, or gal in this case, and Miss Scott seems to have drawn the short straw. During the trial, Scott, bless her heart, essentially admitted to, well, everything. She confessed to mismanaging funds, keeping shoddy records, and slapping on unauthorized fees like they were going out of style. She even admitted to not fully reviewing the trust's governing documents. It was a masterclass in how to throw yourself under the bus, and then back up over yourself a few times for good measure. Now, I'm not saying that Kim Scott is solely responsible for Wells Fargo's actions. Let's be real, this kind of systemic failure doesn't happen in a vacuum. There were undoubtedly others higher up the corporate food chain who knew what was going on, or at the very least, should have known. But Scott's testimony provided a rare glimpse into the inner workings of Wells Fargo's culture of greed and disregard for their clients. Now, you didn't think Wells Fargo was just going to take this $832 million hit lying down, did you? Of course not. They're appealing the verdict, claiming they were just following the tribe's instructions and fulfilling their fiduciary duty. They're singing a familiar tune, folks. The same one we've heard from countless corporations caught with their hands in the cookie jar. We didn't do anything wrong, and even if we did, it wasn't our fault. Wells Fargo is also alleging that certain courtroom rulings prevented them from presenting their full case to the jury. It's the classic "the dog ate my homework" defense, but with a corporate law twist. So, what's next for Wells Fargo and this seemingly never-ending saga of financial malfeasance? Well, the appeals process could drag on for years, costing both the bank and the Seminole tribe even more money in legal fees. As for the 8 Wells Fargo executives who were ordered to pay token damages ranging from $50 to $500, well, I'm sure they'll be able to scrape that together from their couch cushions. It's a pittance compared to the $832 million the bank is on the hook for, and it sends a clear message that when it comes to corporate accountability, the little guy always gets the short end of the stick.